Hey everybody, it is Wintermute coming to you from the think tank, and in today's video I'm going to explain how orders work for tactics and doctrines. Now, at one point I was going to kind of just cut orders completely from kind of the idea pool, but then I kind of rethought them and I came up with a way that I think they would be good, implemented in a good way. So this is what I came up with. And as with anything, nothing is set in stone. So any feedback that you can provide would be fantastic if you see any issues or any problems with these. So getting into that, orders may be issued during any round of combat prior to making any attack or defense roll. Orders can affect up to 3 units of the issuer's choice. Only one of each order type may be in effect at a time for each combatant. Then I have a blurb here explaining kind of retreating units. Units which retreat no longer take part in the current combat, but are not considered to have fully retreated until the combat phase is over. If the land zone a retreating unit was moving it to is taken by an opponent later in that same combat phase, then all retreating units are eliminated. I did not. Now, in the core rules, I know that retreating from combat, only the attacker can normally do that. So they go back to an area where some or all of their units originated from. In this instance, with the orders, I'm giving defending units an ability to retreat, but they obviously have to have a place to retreat to, which I do need to clarify in the rules. It's always better to clarify than assume somebody's going to know or be able to put that together. But I also wanted to clarify what happens, because the attacker chooses the order of combat. So they may specifically choose to fight combats in a way where they may or may not be able to retreat, depending on what the circumstances are and what they expect their opponent to do. Now, I also thought about making retreating a little bit more, or the defender retreating a little more complex, where they do take place in that other combat, but they're disrupted, so they suffer penalties to their stats and so on and so forth. But then I'm kind of like, no, let's just keep it simple like this, and play test it this way and see how it works this way, and then we can always add a layer of complexity to it or do something different if we think that might be needed. So with that said, the orders there's 7 orders as of right now. There's probably room for more, I have no doubt, but these are the kind of core ones that I think would be the most useful in the most situations. So the first one is withdraw. So these first 2 are clearly for defense. Withdraw is -1 to defense on a roll of 11 to 12, 10 to 12 for veteran units. Units may retreat to an adjacent land or sea zone controlled by it or an ally. Then retreat, -2 to defense on a roll of 9 through 12 or 8 through 12 for veteran units. Unit may retreat to an adjacent land or sea zone controlled by it or an ally. And then the attacker has the option of encircle. -1 to attack on a roll of 11 through 12, 10 through 12 for veteran units. Cancel 1 successful withdraw or retreat order by the attacker. Defender's choice. So those 3 kind of play in with each other. Then the next grouping, you'll see how they kind of play into each other as well. Delay, -1 to defense. Excuse me. -1 to defense on a roll of 11 through 12 or 10 to 12 for veteran units. Attacker must choose 1 land unit eligible to blitz. That unit may not blitz after this combat. The defender may also choose to cancel out 1 successful overrun order by the attacker. So overrun is -1 to attack. On a roll of 11 through 12, 10 to 12 for veteran units, attacker may choose 1 land unit. That unit may now move during the non-combat phase if it has the movement to do so, but may not perform a blitz. And then breakthrough, -1 to attack. On a roll of 11 through 12, 10 to 12 for veteran units. Attacker may blitz so long as the combat lasts less than 4 rounds, and it may cancel 1 successful delay roll by the defender. excuse me. So you see how those three kind of play into each other. I'm sorry, and there were eight orders. Okay, then I have hold the line. Hold the line is -2 to defense. On a roll of 11 through 12, 10 through 12 for veteran units, the defender may cancel one hit from the attacker, defender's choice. Now, hold the line is you're kind of hedging your bets. This is obviously an order if you are trying to delay combat for as long as possible for whatever reason. This is the one that I probably, these I think will work okay. This is the one that I'm a little iffy on as to whether it work out okay or whether it should or shouldn't be in there, or whether it should have some other qualifier to it. But that said, now the last one is specifically for Japan. Banzai, only available to a Japanese player and only usable when Japanese land forces are outnumbered by enemy land forces at least 3-1. +2 to defense. Units under the Banzai order are eliminated on a defense roll of 11 through 12, 10 through 12, 11 through 12 for veteran units. So those are the orders. Now, unlike missions, which I had put, they get set up and resolved before the combat begins for simplicity's sake. Orders you can apply at the start of any round of combat throughout the combat. So these have a little these give you a little more decisions, strategic tactical decisions to make throughout the combat, as depending on how the combat is going. Maybe you really think that you're going to do well in the combat as a defender, but then things just go horribly wrong, and you're like, well, let me try to get some units out of there, kind of a thing. So you give the withdrawal, the retreat order, things along those lines. Now, also, and I'm going to pull up the kind of the core sheet of some of the core concepts over here. I mentioned veteran units. Now, there's a veteran unit token that they have on HBG. Oh, and also with some of these entries, you'll see this number here. If you see that number there that starts with HBG, that means that I'm specifically writing a rule around a token that HBG has on their website. So in this case, they have a veteran units token, which is actually they have two types. They've got silver and gold. And I actually use silver and gold in two different ways within these rules. And so for some of these, I to keep track of what I'm referencing as far as reference markers that I'm taking off the website, that's why those numbers are there. So here's how veteran units work. Any unit designated as veteran gains +1 to its attack and defense. Veteran units modify the target numbers needed for a successful order roll. In the case of normal veteran units, I'm using the silver veteran marker. The gold will be used for something different. During the production phase, a player may spend a number of veteran points equal to half the IPP value of a unit, rounded up to make it a veteran. So to make an infantry unit a veteran, you would need, obviously, 2 IPP. To make a fighter a veteran, you would need 5 veteran points. And the veteran option is, at this point, are part of the Doctrines for Germany and Japan. Those two have it. I don't know whether I gave it to anybody else, but we'll go into the individual nations later. I just wanted to kind of reference when I talk about veterans here, obviously the chances of being successful with your order is greater for them. Now, unlike elite units, which also get a +1 to attack and defense, veteran units are not eligible for missions, but they are better at executing orders. That's the big difference. Now, with that in mind, it is possible for an elite unit to also become a veteran unit and vice versa. So those I refer to as battle-hardened units. And here's the gold token reference number on HBG. Any unit which receives both the elite and veteran upgrade becomes battle-hardened. It now receives the bonuses of both upgrades, which will stack. And like I said, I'm using the gold veteran marker. So if a unit becomes battle-hardened, it will get a +2 to attack, +2 to defense. It will also be eligible for missions, and it will also get the bonus of being a veteran. Now, if that seems really good, Yes, and that's how I'm going to play test it. It may not, it may be a bit too much in the long run, but I also have learned that it's not always a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket. Particularly in this game, you can kind of get away with that in basic Axis and Allies because that's going to be one of the last units that you kill off. Global War doesn't have that. You have target selection and you have carpet bombing. So if you leave a unit out there by itself, a high value unit, you may have them go, well, I was going to strategically bomb your factory this turn, but man, I'd really like to get rid of that Panzer or that battle hardened unit sitting out there by itself, or maybe with one of the guys. So you know what? I'm going to come carpet bomb that. The completely viable tactic, the attrition bombing kind of sniper thing, which I think I talked about in one of my videos. So I'm not saying at this point that's why I'm allowing the bonuses to stack 100%, because I don't necessarily think putting all your eggs in one basket is the best way to go about it. But I'm going to play it out and I'm going to see how it works. Now, with that said, anything that I might as well go ahead and bring this up as well. All bonuses within this expansion will stack with each other unless otherwise stated. A unit's attack and defense rating may never go below 1. Now, this second sentence here is actually part of the core rules. I just put it there to reiterate it. But there's a lot of bonuses and modifications to stats and numbers and bonuses in this expansion so far, the way I'm writing it, that I didn't see any, that if I had said, okay, bonuses never stack, I really think in some ways it becomes even more complex than just doing the math and coming up with a final number. Because you're like, okay, well, I got this bonus, but okay, so I say just to take that, as opposed to, okay, now he has this bonus, as opposed to, okay, 2 + 1 + 1, 4, go. That's my opinion on it. But again, playtesting will be the ultimate decider of whether this is a good or bad idea. So that is, I don't think there was anything else. Yeah. So that's orders, and I delved a little bit into some other definitions that I think went along with this. So yeah, any feedback? I also wanted to add, I added my email address in the About section of my channel. So if you would like to contact me directly via email, sometimes people aren't comfortable posting stuff on a public forum, and I understand that. For whatever reason, if you would rather talk to me directly, go ahead and just shoot me a quick email. The only thing I would ask is that in the email title, the heading, make direct reference of like Tactics and Doctrine or Global War or something like that, because all my email that isn't explicitly allowed goes right into my junk folder, and then I look at it, and then I make sure that nothing slipped in, and then I delete it. So this way your email will stand out as opposed to being just junk mail from some random person. So make some reference to Global War or Tactics and Doctrines, or even just Hello Wintermute would be a good way to put it, because that's the only place, YouTube right now is the only place where I'm kind of publicly known by that name. So, like I said, feel free to contact me directly if that's your preferred method of communication. Shoot me an email. We can always talk on the phone if you've got like a litany of things you want to kind of bring up, or maybe you're just not good at putting your ideas on paper and you're better at vocalizing them. Hey, shoot me an email with your phone number and when the best time to call you is, and we can talk on the phone. I am totally cool with that. So with all that said, that is orders. Please feel free to leave any feedback, comments, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And this is Wintermute signing off.